welcome back to Angie in Wonderland. Right before Christmas, I sent out a request for you guys to ask me some questions, and I would sit down and answer all of those questions for you. It has been a minute since I asked you guys to do that for me, and I did get a lot of questions. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer all of those questions that you guys asked me. These are in no particular order. I just kind of wrote them down in my little notebook as I got the questions. So the first question is from Jenna, and Jenna says, or asks me, what was your most embarrassing moment? My most embarrassing moment? That's a good one because I don't get embarrassed easily. It would have to be something seriously major, I guess, to embarrass me. But I'm going to share something with you guys that I haven't shared with you guys, but I have shared with my family and some of my friends here locally. Back in August or September, when Brian and I went to Disney, when we stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, we in the Jumbo House. Prior to us going and checking in, we had eaten at Olivia's, and before I left Olivia's, I had went to the bathroom, and I was good. I got to Animal Kingdom, went in to check into our resort, and as I was getting ready to approach the cast members to check us in, I started getting sick to my stomach. And y'all know that I suffer from IBS, which I do take a probiotic for that, and it has helped. But it's not 100% proof that it works. It does work, but not like 100% all the time work. So I do get sick from time to time. That day, I had gotten sick, and I don't really know why, but I did. Anyway, so right as I was getting to approach her, I said, can you tell me where the bathroom is at? So she told me where the bathroom was at, and it was clear on the other side of the lobby. And if any of you guys have ever been to the Animal Kingdom Lodge, you guys know that the lobby is ginormous. So anyway, it was clear on the other side, right on the left-hand side of the fireplace. So anyway, I did not make it to the bathroom, and I will let you guys go ahead and visualize that. Yeah, I did not make it to the bathroom. I literally ran across the lobby crapping my pants. It was pretty brutal, and it hit me like that. It hit me quick. So I got into the bathroom, and it was already down my legs, down my, in my shorts, in my panties, on my socks, on my shoes. I mean, it was everywhere. That may be embarrassing for some people. I mean, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to go out there in the lobby again because everybody knows what's going on, blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, because I went out and I did my business. Well, I get into the bathroom and I text Brian because he was actually waiting in the car for me. So I texted Brian and I said, hey, had a little issue, and I sent him all of the poop emojis, and I said I had a little accident and I'm gonna need you to bring me some clean shorts and clean panties. So he did, and he was smart enough to actually put them in a Disney bag that we had in the trunk. And he came in and asked one of the cast members if she could please bring me the bag, and she did, and she tossed it underneath the bathroom stall. And needless to say, I threw out the shorts that I was wearing, and I threw out the panties that I was wearing at the time, because I wasn't about to keep those with me for the next 3 days or whatever, however long we were there, because that just wasn't going to happen. But nonetheless, I ended up having to clean up the floor in the bathroom, the toilet in the bathroom. You guys, it was a huge mess. But I mean, I wouldn't really say that was embarrassing because it didn't happen in front of a bunch of people. I don't know. I just don't get embarrassed about a lot of things like that. I mean, accidents happen, and that was a huge, huge accident. So anyway, nonetheless, that was the first time that has ever happened, and it hasn't happened since. Keeping my fingers crossed that it never happens again. Okay, so she also has another question in there. Along with this, it says, or ask, what am I most afraid of? I am most afraid of not ever having a relationship with my 4 kids. As most of you guys know, I haven't really shared a lot of this with you guys, but some of you guys know that I am alienated from my kids. Like, this year will be 9 years that I haven't seen my twins, Austin and Dalton. I have talked to them, but I haven't physically seen them, and the conversations that we have are extremely minimum. And I was actually talking to my son Austin back in December. He had, like, out of the blue sent me a text wanting to know if we could exchange Christmas gifts, and I was just like, absolutely. You know, I want to be able to get my kids Christmas gifts. And then we were supposed to meet up. We never did meet up. It's just a big, huge mess. But my biggest fear is not having a relationship with my kids, a relationship that you're supposed to have with your kids, a mother-son relationship. And I'm afraid that I'm never going to have that. And that's probably very, very true. So that is definitely a fear of mine, and I've always feared that. Another part of her question: what was one of your most defining moments in life? One of my most defining moments in life, I guess, had to, oh man, I don't know, that's really hard to say and to think about. I kind of know one, but again, it's one of those where if I share this information with you guys, am I going to get judged or ridiculed for it, or is it something that you guys are going to be able to understand? This has to do with my kids as well. A defining moment was August 13th, 2008. I was forced into, blackmailed into, coerced into relinquishing my rights to my kids. And I know everybody's probably thinking, well, if you did that, then how are you alienated from your kids? Again, that's a whole other video, and maybe I'll get into that another time. But the defining moment for me was when I actually wrote my name on that piece of paper saying that on paper, I am no longer their mother. At that time, I mean, like, everything flashed before my eyes. I mean, their birth, their first birthday, their first walk, their first word, their first tooth, their first haircut, everything flashed right before my eyes. I mean, it just kind of went boom, 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 like that as I was writing. And I'm just like, oh my God. And because that's a defining moment for me, I think it's because I was able to, when I signed that paper, relinquishing my rights to my kids was not a burden off my shoulders, because they were never the burden. The burden I had that was lifted up at that time, lifted off of me at that time, was the fact that I no longer had to deal with attorneys. I no longer had to deal with court. I no longer had to deal with their father. I no longer had to deal with their stepmother. I no longer had to deal with any of it. And again, I want to make sure that I'm clear with that. My kids weren't the bother. My kids weren't the burden. They were not what I wanted to be away from. It was the fact that I was being tormented and tortured and forced and coerced into doing all kinds of sorts of things that I financially and mentally just could not do or handle. So at that point, that was a really defining moment for me, because for 2 years I didn't talk about it. I shut down. I closed myself out of the world, and I want to say I was depressed, but I didn't let that define me or who I was. But after 2 years of that quietness and that solitude and that confinement that I put myself in, I was gung-ho on trying to figure out what I can do to make this right and get my kids back. So again, that's a whole other video, but that was a defining moment for me on August 13th, 2008. Okay. Country in the City asks, why have you moved each time to a different state, and what states have I lived in? Why have I moved to each state? Brian and I moved from Chicago to Alabama because we needed a change of pace. We needed something different in our lives. Brian was looking to get out of Illinois because of the weather. We were looking to get out of Illinois for a better life, for better job opportunities, and we just needed to break away from the state of Illinois, quite honestly. That was just wearing us down. So that's why we moved. And then why we moved from Alabama to Georgia is because we were finding ourselves like at a standstill in Huntsville, Alabama, and we weren't like going anywhere. And Brian was like, hey, what do you think about Savannah? I'm like, Savannah sounds great. Let's try and see what we can do in Savannah. So Brian knew the guys that he works for right now and had asked them, hey, do you know of anybody who's hiring in Savannah for what I can do? And the guy here said, I don't know of anybody in Savannah, but why don't you come work for us? So that kind of like put everything in motion, and Brian came out here for an interview, and here we are. So we live in Georgia. And all the other times that I moved, like as a kid, is because my dad wanted to go. We lived in Florida, I lived in Tennessee, obviously I lived in Illinois. So those are just a few of the places that I have lived, and those are just because we wanted to, I guess. And what states have I lived in? I think I just named all those. Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Illinois. Those are the 5 states that I've lived in. So, Flavia Gondola, and I'm sorry if I like butcher anybody's name, but Flavia Gondola asks, if you could change one thing that you made in your life, what would it be? I don't want to say that I would change the fact that I got married when I was 19. I would change that. I wouldn't have done it. But I don't want to say that I regret doing that, because out of that marriage gave me my 4 boys. And they are my life, and I absolutely love them, even though I don't have the relationship that I would like in my heart. And of course they always will be, because they are my kids. But if I could change things, I want to say I probably wouldn't have gotten married. I was pregnant with my first son, and I probably should have stayed single. That's the only thing I could think of. But again, if I say that, then I would have been blessed with my other 4 boys, or my other 3 boys. But anyway, Lots of Foo-Foo asked, what is your least favorite part of posting on YouTube? Nothing. I don't have a favorite or least favorite thing about posting on YouTube. I feel that there's so many reasons why I wanted to do this. I wanted to do YouTube because at the time I was not working, and I thought, oh my God, this would be a perfect opportunity for me to share things that I like, do some DIY, share some crafts, share what I get, and that's how I approached it and how I looked at it. My favorite thing about sharing on YouTube is the fact that I like hearing back from you guys, and I like to hear if you guys like purchased the same thing that I bought, and if you guys liked it or if you guys disliked it. Another thing that I like about it is because I get to, I get not physically meet, but, verbally, I guess, meet and communicate with so many different people across the globe. And I think that is like the coolest thing. I mean, what a cool thing that the internet is, that we can actually communicate with somebody who lives in Iceland or France. That is like the coolest thing to me. I always thought that was so neat to be able to be a pen pal with somebody across the pond, So I thought it was just a really cool thing for me. And I don't have any least favorite thing about posting, because I'm usually pretty open. Not usually, I am open and honest about my sharing and my posting, and I don't, hide things that. I mean, I'm not going to share personal information, but I'm out there, and I enjoy it, because I think that being yourself and being honest and being true to yourself is what is going to help maybe another person be open and true and honest with themselves. I mean, because I don't hide the fact that I'm a big girl. I don't hide the fact that I've gained 30 pounds. I don't hide the fact that I have a gut or I have a muffin top. I don't have a problem with sharing anything like that. So that's why I think I like sharing, is because I'm open and I'm honest, and people may be able to relate to some things that I say or that I share, that I go through, and then I can hear feedback from you guys as well. If you guys are going through the same thing or feeling the same thing or whatever, that's kind of what I like about it. So I like doing YouTube. It's fun. Alyssa 1114 asks, where are your favorite places to shop? My favorite places to shop are Old Navy for clothing, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods for home goods stuff. Those are my favorite places to shop. I also like Kohl's sometimes. It just depends. I like Ulta. Obviously, I like some of those places. Robin asks, do you have a tattoo? Oh, excuse me. Yes, Robin, I have 3 tattoos. My first one is right here, and it does look like it's upside down but like it's supposed to be, because when you like put your arm this way, you're supposed to be able to see it. But anyway, it's right there, and that's Minnie Mouse. And then I have Mickey Mouse with the same shape except without the bow on my foot, on my left foot, top foot. And then on my right ankle, I have an infinity with a heart on it. And that is for my boys. And she says she's too chicken to get one. I was never chicken to go get one. I knew I had wanted one for quite some time. And I finally just like broke down and got one a couple years ago. And I want more. Absolutely, I want more. Bray411 asks, my favorite all-time Disney movie. Man, there's so many. I like Mary Poppins. I like Brave. I like Cars, and I like Toy Story, and there's so many that I like. Yeah, those would be some of them that I like. I don't have like one particular favorite that I'm like, oh my God, I absolutely love it. But those would be like some of my tops. I like those. If I could go anywhere besides Disney, where would it be? I would love to go to London, and I would love to go to Italy, and I would love to go to Disneyland in Paris. I would love to be able to go to all those. Those are not like out of this world like dreams for me. Those could actually become reality for me. But I am afraid to fly that far and that long. I get like claustrophobic. That's why I won't go on a cruise, because I feel like I'm so confined inside this ship that I can't like break free and go out anyplace else. Even though I know ships are huge, and the airplanes when you fly overseas are huge, you can walk and get up and stretch and do all kinds of things. I totally get all that, but it's still like in that confined space that I'm in, and that would drive me crazy. I can't do that. So maybe one day I will. I can take a bunch of a bunch of Benadryl and be able to do all that. But in the meantime, that ain't gonna happen. Let's see. How did I start and decide to do YouTube? This is from the same one, Bray 411. I kind of shared that a few minutes ago about how I decided to start doing YouTube, but I was actually watching Organized Like Jen on YouTube, and I was like, oh my God, I could totally do this. I could totally like sit down in front of the camera and talk and share and vent and spill and whatever. I could totally do all that stuff. And I had all the equipment. I have all the equipment to do it. It was just a matter of finding content, building up an audience, and making my content likable, making my content shareable, making my content interesting, and being able to spread the word and share it and get the feedback and get the comments and get the likes and get the subscriptions that you totally need when you're on YouTube. So I started doing it because I just thought, well, I'm going to give it a try. What do I have to lose? Absolutely nothing. Either they like me or they don't. Either they subscribe or they don't. So it was up in the air, and so far so good. I mean, I've been doing this now for 14, 15, 16, 17, 3 years. And I know 3 years, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. And I know in 3 years, I don't even have 2,000 subscribers yet. which is, I don't know if that's good or if that's bad, but I do know like some people have been out there and they've been doing it for like a year, for 2 years, and they're already at like 15,000 subscribers. I'm like, what are they doing different than me that they're getting more likes or more subscribers? Like, what am I missing here? What am I not doing that I'm not like getting all these subscribers? But you know, I look at it this way. I am not a full-time vlogger. I am not a full-time YouTuber. If I could devote myself to YouTube and vlogging every single day and actually go on these awesome, cool adventures and share these things with you guys every single day, then I think my subscriptions might pick up a little bit. But to me, it's not all about the subscribers. It's not all about the subscription. Yeah, it's huge when you reach 1,000. It's huge when you reach 1,500. It's huge when you reach 10,000 or 5,000. That's huge. That's a huge thing. And I can't wait for that day to happen, but I'm still struggling to get to 2,000 right now. It's definitely a struggle, but to me, it's not always about that. To me, it's about sharing how I'm feeling, sharing true and open and honest content, whether I have makeup on, whether my hair's a mess, whether I am sick with the flu bug. I want to share with you guys because I feel that that's what I signed up for. And no, you don't sign anything, but you know what I'm saying. It's just a figure of speech. That's what I signed up for. And I feel like if I don't have something out there, then people are going to lose interest. And I don't want people to lose interest. I want people to be like, I love this gal. She's awesome. She's open. She's honest. She's truthful. She's down to earth. There's nothing that she can't say, won't do, won't try, because that's how I want it to be. Because I'm not afraid to say things. I'm not afraid to try new things. I'm not afraid to be adventurous. So that's kind of what, did I like get off on a tangent with that one? Did you guys kind of understand what I was saying? Alrighty. So anyway, that's me on YouTube. That's why I decided to do it, and that's how I started, and I absolutely love it. And I will probably continue to do it as long as I possibly can. Again, another one from Flavia Gondola. She said, and this is the last one, how do you picture your life in 10 years from now? Well, 10 years from now, right now I'm 43. I will be 44 March 9th. So I'm going to put myself in the 44 category. In 10 years, I will be 55 years old. That is huge. 55. That is like, you know, not old, but like old. It's not old. So please don't get me wrong, anybody who's out there who's 55 and watching me, because I don't want it to be like old, but like right now I'm 40, 43 and 44, and when I think about 10 years from now and I'm going to be in my 50s, I'm going to be 55, wow, that's huge. But where do I picture my life in 10 years? I picture my life in 10 years with my house paid off, with maybe me driving my Range Rover that I dream about. Probably not going to happen, but you know, we can dream. And living in Orlando. That's kind of how I picture myself in 10 years. I would love to live in Orlando. Not that at 55 years old am I going to be this spunky and ready and gung-ho to go to Disney every single day and share all that stuff with you. I don't know what that's going to be like. I don't know what it's going to be like when I turn 50 or when I'm 45 or when I'm 47. Because, you know, you get older, you start slowing down. But I'd like to say in 10 years, I would like to be able to live in Florida, and I would still like to be able to say that I am on YouTube 10 years later and sharing the thing that I love most, which is Disney. And another thing that I'd like to say that I see myself in 10 years is with a very strong and positive relationship with my kids. I want to be able to, if they have grandkids by then, or if they have kids by then, I want to be able to share my life with my grandkids. I want to be able to spoil them. I want to be able to take them to Disney, see their faces light up when they first see the castle, just like mine do. So yeah, 10 years from now, those are the things that I'd like to have accomplished, or that's where I picture myself, happy, healthy, prosperous, successful still, obviously still married to my best friend Brian, and more than anything in the world, I would love, love, love to have that close relationship with my kids. So with that said, thank you guys so much for asking me those questions. I will do another Q&A maybe in the springtime or whatever, so start thinking of some questions that you want to ask, and you can go ahead and start sending me some questions because I do write them down in this book and I will save them for when I do the Q&A. But thanks again so much for asking the questions. I totally appreciate it. I hope that you guys enjoyed my answers, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching Angie in Wonderland. Bye!